Welcome back to the Handyman Business Channel. I've been slacking off. All over the place. This channel, the other channel, my regular handyman work. I got to get back in the groove. Got to find my rhythm again. This video, I come up with all sorts of ideas for this channel, and I just never come out here and do it. But today, someone sent me a direct message on Instagram. Okay, here we go. Question is about what do you do with the money that you bring in, that the business brings in, and how much is yours, how much is the business. He's trying to ask, so do you keep 10% and the rest goes to the business? Do you have a specific percentage set aside? And do you know what taxes to take out, how much? And that's one part of this video, is how I break up the money that comes in and where I put it. Another one, he wants to know about retirement, anything related to retirement. He's pretty much starting at square one. I told him what I have and what I got. Start with all the savings accounts that I have. So how many? I think I've got 4 savings accounts. I don't even have a personal account. I have a joint checking and a joint savings with my wife, but for everything is purchased out of my business account. I don't have very much purchases that aren't really business related, but there are things that are not business related. One being certain retirement contributions. We'll get to that in a minute. But the way the S Corporation works is the business doesn't pay taxes. Because I'm the only person, just the owner pays tax, personal tax, on what he takes from the business. So that's one savings account. It's set at 40%. 40% of my income, wherever it comes from, goes to my tax savings account. That leaves me with 60% left over, and that is spread out between 2 more savings accounts. I'm trying to remember how I have this set up here. One is just the business savings account that I keep at $10,000 to $12,000. The other is, I guess you would call it my investment account. I try to build that up and make extra payments to my mortgages. That's one investment. It also feeds the business checking. The business checking also stays at around $10,000 to $12,000. So there you go. We'll just keep it at that. There are 4 accounts: a business checking, a savings account for taxes, a saving account for investments, and then just a business savings. Basically a business safety net. So there you go. There's the 4 accounts that I have. Now for the retirement thing, he asked, what is an IRA? An IRA is an individual retirement account. There's several different types. Tell you right from the get-go, I am not a professional at this. I'm just sharing, and I'm not trying to give advice. I'm just telling you what I do. If it gets the ball rolling for you to make that first step, that's the whole point of this story, of me telling you what I do. So it started out, I only had a traditional IRA, and that is a tax-deferred account. It's a tax-deferred. So it goes up every year. The maximum amount. It's not that much. It used to be $52. Then it was like $5,500. Now I think it's $7,000. So every year I have it set up where I transfer $7,000 into that traditional IRA. And what that does is it reduces my taxable income by $7,000. It's a $7,000 tax deduction. Now there's another IRA that I just got set up with, and it's called an SEP, or a Sep Ira. And don't quote me on these numbers, but I think it's tax deferred up to $50,000 or $25,000 maybe it's up to 50,000 or 25% of your income, business income, whichever is less. So I don't ever try to get too close to that 50 or 25% thing. That's just another tax deferred account. It's not that much, maybe 10,000 a year. So there's 17,000 a year go into either a traditional IRA or the Sep Ira. There's one other account that I dabble in. I don't put too much in it because I'm putting more towards the mortgage payments and getting the mortgages just paid off. And that is a taxable account. That's like the stock market or money market accounts. And, well, I really don't know anything about it. I know they've got me set up and it's into a risk category of how aggressive I want to invest in the stock market. It's a lot to take in, and a lot of guys always put it off because it's just not easy to get set up. And I want to show you the first steps on a website called Vanguard. Now, I'm not a real fancy YouTuber, so I don't have screen capture. I might have it on my editing thing, but I'm not going to use it. I'm just going to show you the screen. I'm going to show you a couple quick clicks to get you in the right direction. And you got to force yourself to do it. I started off with only contributing $200 a month. It's like a bill that you just are used to paying, and $200 a month goes to a traditional IRA. That's going to be your very first step. The second step might be that SEP, depending on how you have your business set up. Everybody has to have at least that traditional IRA. I think everybody I know does. And they just write a check at the beginning of the year, every January or February. They just write that check for $7,000, and it's just done and over with. I used to not be able to do that, and I would pay into that traditional IRA $200 a month. Okay, got you pointed at the workshop computer screen. This is Vanguard.com, and I've only been on this site a few times. You can see right here, you don't have an account set up yet. You got investing, you got advice and retirement. That's where I would go first. If I was, and I used to be this way, I had no clue about anything. This is where you can get started. Here's your age group. Getting started investing, choosing investments, trading online. This is if you wanted to do it yourself. If you took the time and educated yourself, this is probably the way to go, to do it yourself. I believe you can get like a financial advisor through here. Mutual funds. I know I've got one of those. Oh, this is it. This is an SEP. I still don't know what the heck it stands for. 403B. I know my wife's got one of those. Here's another one. Oh, there we go. The Roth versus traditional IRA, individual retirement fund. This is money that you don't really get until you are 65. This is just to show you where you can start your education on this, your self-education. I skipped all this. I didn't have time, and even if I did have the time, I did not want to read this, did not want to educate myself. So I have a financial planner, financial advisor through a different brokerage account. Somewhere on here you can get a broker. I believe you would have to make an account first. Another place you can do the exact same thing or very similar thing is through a website called Fidelity. So here's the Fidelity website, and they got the same similar things, retirement and IRA. Some reading on that. They have a 1-800 number. I do know that Fidelity actually has storefronts where you can just walk in and talk to somebody. Another real easy way is go into your bank, wherever you have a business account or even your personal accounts. Make an appointment, go in and talk to a banker. They can do pretty much the same thing. I'm not sure why I don't do that. but you can. I actually had a customer who was some sort of financial investment manager through Wells Fargo, or he worked for Wells Fargo. So there's three ways to just start your education. I think the easiest one for someone who's busy and someone who just doesn't have the interest in reading a whole bunch of gibberish, stuff that I'm not interested in, is just to walk into your bank, make an appointment with a banker, and go in and say, hey, you know what? I don't have any retirement funds. I have no investments. All I got is my checking account and my savings account. Or I've got an old 401k from a job that I had 10 years ago. I want to track it down and maybe do something with it. Roll it into something else. That's one thing that I did on my college internship. That's what it was. My college internship was with a city's building department, and it was mandatory that you open up a 401k retirement account, and you had to put your money towards it, and they actually matched it. And I had that thing for, I don't know how long it's been, almost 20 years. Once I got my act together, I had a company, who was Edward Jones, a guy that works for Edward Jones, track it down, get in contact with that mutual fund, and roll it over into something that we now, it's up to date. And I actually had like $2,000 that got rolled into some sort of IRA, traditional IRA. I think they rolled it into that. Again, I think you can tell I am not an expert. I'm not very well read. I just wanted to share my experience and what I have done to help encourage somebody to make that first step so that you don't end up a crippled ass old man with no money.